Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. The news that we were all waiting for, the news that we already knew is now official. Paolo Montero, head coach of Juventus first team. I'm super happy about that. We'll speak about it, how it happened, and also answering some questions, especially the one about how will Juventus, the first Juventus of Paolo Montero, look like already tomorrow against Bologna. I know there are a lot of questions about that. We'll try to answer that. We'll speak about the Juventus 24-25, una Juve alla francesa, a French Juventus. Pay attention for that. Pay attention for that. But we will start with the crazy news. The non-Juve world, how are they reacting to the news of Paolo Montero this morning? You will go totally crazy. You will go totally nuts. So put a maximum of like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Guys, thank you to all the new Juventini of the world. We reached 29,585 Juventini on this channel. You know the objective is 30,000 before the end of May. Can we do it? It depends on you. Let's try to do it. Commenting, liking, and subscribing if you didn't yet, because now we start. And how did it start? Paolo Montero at Juventus. This morning, 4 minutes after 8, we saw a Fiat 500 going and arriving and going towards the cancelli of La Continassa. You arrived this morning in a white 500. We didn't have to wait that long. For what reason? Because at 9:30 a.m. it was already official everywhere. On all the social network on Juventus, Twitter, Instagram, also and especially on the site of Juventus. And it's not only Juventus that communicated it. Of course, you had all the big journalists, Romeo Agresti, Di Marzio, etc., but also ANSA, Agenzia ANSA. Who is and what is Agenzia ANSA, you will tell me. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, news agency of Italy, world known. How do they start to report the news of this morning? Well, they go with after Juventus coach Massimiliano Allegri has been dismissed, it is Montero on the bench. And this morning he will already start with his training session. Until there, absolutely nothing wrong. They are just reporting the facts. But look at the picture that they have chosen. Picture of years ago, where Paolo Montero was in court being heard as a witness in a process. Disgusting. Disgusting. Guys, when I'm telling you that in Italy, you have 1/3 of Italy that is in love with Juventus, and you have 2/3 that are hating Juventus, choosing that picture, while you go on Google and you can find picture of Montero as a player, you can find picture of Montero as a coach, you can find whatever you want to, and you go and you select that one. It's just disgusting. Anyway, just to tell you how obsessed people are. Am I happy? In a way, yes. In a way, yes. Because it is confirming the news that I'm telling you. We are hated and we need to be united in supporting Paolo Montero, showing him the love that we have for him. Pay attention. It will be short. Not long at all. And Juventus, they wanted to be really precise on it and really transparent on it, because in the first communication of Juventus, they are already writing Paolo Montero guiderà la prima squadra maschile fino alla fine della stagione. Paolo Montero will lead the first men team until the end of the season. They are repeating it as well in the official communication. Paolo Montero will take the reins of the first men team for the final 2 games of the Serie A season, which come away at Bologna and then at home at Monza. So they are repeating it again, not only in the title, but also in the first paragraph. They explain the games, and then they said again, he will lead the Bianconeri for the season finale against Monza at the Allianz Stadium. And then also introducing Paolo Montero, legend of Juve, firstly on the pitch, and then also as a coach, and then as a man, especially one that was carrying the DNA of Juventus, as we could see in the Juventus creator-led production that is called Plantar una semilla, planting a seed. That is just fantastic, guy. I already watched it a few times this morning. Of course, I started again my day watching the documentary. I even wrote a message. If you go there on the Juventus video and you see my message, please put a maximum of like also there. It's just fantastic, because not only you discover who he was as a player, not only you discover who he is as a coach, also as a father, also as a man of value. And I can tell you, Paolo Montero is an iconic player. Has been one of my idols, always. And I didn't wait for Paolo Montero to come back as a coach. I didn't wait for Paolo Montero to become first team coach, to become a big lover. Look at that message. Look at that picture. Beppe lying on the star in 2011. It was the 2nd of October 2011. Juventus Milan. The very first time I went to the Allianz Stadium. You remember that brace of Marchisio, fantastic game? Well, before the game, I saw, the legend stars around the stadium. I saw the one of Paolo Montero, and I was going and embracing Paolo Montero. As I say, maybe it was a sign of destiny. It was written in the stars, or written in the star, the one of Paolo Montero. What a guy! What a guy! What a player! Again, extremely happy. Now, the question, of course, is how will the first Juventus of Montero look like tomorrow already against Bologna? Look, if you are speaking about players, I don't know. I have no idea. Can we see maybe Alcaraz from the start? Can we see maybe the first official minutes of Jalot? Could be. Will we see Fagioli entering or maybe even starting? Because we know it, today is the last day of ban of Fagioli and tomorrow he can start. Everything is possible. Will we see rotations? I don't know. Maybe. Players that didn't play a lot? Could be. What kind of formation will we see? Well, pay attention there. There will be no revolution. He played a lot with the 3-5-2 when he was at the under 19, which the season ended yesterday with a 0-0 against Frosinone. Played with a 3-5-2 for what reason? To give continuity to the first team project, to make sure that these players are ready to also understand a way of playing of the first team. He will not change. There is no time. He will have one training session because tomorrow we play already, the first training session. So don't expect crazy things a la 4-3-3, a la 4-3-3 or whatever. I don't expect that. On the other side, he's a coach that is much more offensive than Massimiliano Allegri. So a 3-5-2 can also be offensive with offensive ideas, which I think that the players will show tomorrow on the field. But the most important, this is a guarantee. This is a guarantee. What kind of attitude, what kind of behavior will we see from the first team tomorrow? I can tell you, a team full of grinta. This is something that I can tell you. Today, the first training session, more than technique, more than tactic, will be one thing. In the beginning, one discussion. And I can already imagine Paolo Montero sitting in front of the team saying, guys, I am here for 2 games. Next season, you will have another coach. We don't know who that other coach will be. I am here. I represented Juventus for 9 seasons, winning 10 trophies. I gave every drop of sweat on the field. Representing Juventus as a head coach of under 19, I give everything I have. I live Juve. I eat Juve. I sleep Juve. We have to go there on the field against Bologna and then at home to represent Juventus, to respect Juventus. And I can tell you that tomorrow the behavior will be totally different. Also with players with a free mind. This is something I can tell you. If you go back to that documentary on Juventus YouTube channel of Montero, look at that sentence around the 4th minute where he said, to win, I would do anything. And for him, these 2 games are just not there like an act of presence. No, he would love to win. He would do everything to win. Benvenuto Paolo Montero. Welcome Paolo Montero. Which is also the objective of Juventus management that yesterday was there before the training session, led by Magnanelli and Padoin, telling the team congratulations for the Coppa Italia, but also repeating them, we need to finish the season with honor. We need to finish the 2 games with honor, representing Juventus, trying to win the last 2 games. Not that it will change something in Champions League qualification or not, because we already did, but to honor it. Because the supporters deserve it, because Juventus deserve it, because we all deserve it. Congratulations to Next Gen that yesterday won 3-1 and they qualified to the next round. The next round has already been drawn this morning, will be a difficult one, of course. Juventus already equalizing the record that they already did a few years ago, achieving already that stadium of the competition. If everything goes well, means 2 more games now. 2 more games in the other round and then the 2 games of the final. 6 games to believe to go in Serie B. And that's an important one, extremely important one, because also the future of Paolo Montero will be decided soon. Why? Because a lot of people are asking, Beppe, what about Montero? If he does well, if he wins 5-0 against Bologna, 5-0 against Monza, will we keep Montero at Juventus? No, he will go back to the youth academy system, of course, depending what the coach of the next gen will do. If he leaves, there is a possibility of Montero going towards the next gen, otherwise he could go again initially to his first team, that is the under 19. Tuttosport is writing about another coach already, not Montero. They are writing already about the according to them, next Juventus 24-25 coach, that is Thiago Motta. La Juve di Motta, Juventus of Motta, alla francese. Juventus of Motta with a French touch, guys. When I read that, without already reading the names, I fall in love. You know it. Zinedine Zidane, David Trezeguet, Platini. And you can add big players, big French players played at Juventus. And all the huge big Juventus has always seen some important French players at Juventus. So when you tell me una Juve alla francesa, a French Juventus, I'm happy. Then I open the page. Who are these Frenchmen that they are speaking about? Well, they are putting us two names there. Khéphren Thuram. Why? Because Koopmaner's price starts to go really to the sky. We told it here on the channel since long. Yes, I believe 100% in the real interest of Juventus for Koopmaners. Was I 100% convinced? No, because of the price of Koopmaners. And that's where Thuram comes back being a real possibility for Juve. Khéphren Thuram, the one that we were all dreaming about last summer, that at the end didn't arrive, for also there a sky-high price. The price is half of what they were asking last summer, so for 20-25 million euro max, you could go for Khéphren Thuram. And then they are giving us also another name, Todibo. That is also a player from Nice. And in Tuttosport, you are telling us if they can't go for Calafiori, Todibo is a priority. Pay attention, I don't believe that. This time I don't believe Tuttosport. I don't believe it for a simple reason. Calafiori is number one priority. And Calafiori will be done by Juventus. But Calafiori, why? Because he's a left foot player. And we need a left foot player in defense, which we don't have. Todibo on the other side that also can play on the left, but he's a right foot player. I see Todibo next to Calafiori. I don't see Todibo next to Bremer. Because we have again that problem of no left foot player in defense. If we want to play with four-man defense, it's important to have a left and a right foot player. Of course, if you are reading Todibo there with Calafiori, we know what it means. Bremer could potentially leave. A Juventus that would be open to listen to offers from 70 million euro from Gleison Bremer. That is every day followed by Manchester United. When we are saying una Juve alla francese, a Juventus French team, or with a French touch, well, these guys, but also, again, an Adrien Rabiot. Adrien Rabiot that is waiting, we know it, he was waiting that all the objectives were achieved, which we did, Coppa Italia and also qualification to Champions League. He's waiting, of course, to understand who will be the next coach. And if Thiago Motta is the name, well, Rabiot has high chances to stay there. According to Tuttosport, indeed, the priority of Rabiot would be to stay at Juventus, understanding the project of Juventus, but to stay at Juventus with maybe a 2 years of contract with an option for a third year. I tell you, I repeat you, I would love Rabiot to stay at Juventus for millions of reasons that we can go in detail in the future. What about McKennie? We are waiting about the contract. Will there be an extension, yes or no? But the good news today is that there could possibly be an opening for Hans Nicolosi Caviglia to stay at Juventus in that midfield. I told you a lot of players will be needed next year because we can play from a minimum of 51 games to a maximum of 69 games, so pay attention. In Gazzetta dello Sport, they are also pushing for the word Thiago Motta, for the name Thiago Motta, that is in the future of Juventus. They are just waiting that game Bologna-Juve is played before an official communication of Thiago Motta towards the supporters of Bologna, saying goodbye to them, and then probably signing with Juventus. They are already speaking about the staff of Thiago Motta that could join them. But, since yesterday, there is another possibility. The possibility that yesterday during the live I called a la Alcaraz. The news that nobody saw coming, that nobody was expecting. Some people were praying for it, but not a lot were believing it. Well, since yesterday, announcement of Brighton that they will stop with the Zerbi, because today against Manchester United will be his last game. Well, what if Thiago Motta suddenly decides to stay at Bologna? What if Thiago Motta is only a name on the paper and the real objective since the beginning of Giuntoli the Alcaraz move, is for the bench of Juventus De Zerbi. I said it yesterday in the beginning of the live. While I was speaking about De Zerbi, an article comes out on The Independent with Miguel Delaney that said Juventus target Roberto De Zerbi ahead of Brighton exit. Pay attention. At the moment, I don't really believe in it. At the moment, I'm sure at 99.99% that Thiago Motta will be the next in line. But the 0.1, I would still keep it open. Pay attention, guys. Let me know if you arrived at the end of the video what you think about De Zerbi. If you would take him over Thiago Motta, let me know about Paolo Montero. Don't forget, maximum of welcome Paolo in the chat. Grazie, forza, Juve.